What's up, guys? Your boy Black Mishima here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a review and my final verdict on Resident Evil 2 Remake. So what are my thoughts on Resident Evil 2 Remake? Well, there definitely are in merit, since I played through most of the scenarios with Leon and Claire, and I gotta say, this game is something else, and it's definitely different from games I usually play, like Devil May Cry and Kingdom Hearts and whatnot, hack and slashes and whatnot. And it definitely harkens back to those old fans. I'm definitely not one of them, those 90s fans who like the original trilogy of Resident Evil and like Code Veronica and whatnot with the 10 controls. I never got to play the original RE2 back on, in the early 2000s, since I don't, from my knowledge, I don't think they re-released RE2 on PS3, but I have got to play RE3, but I only played it very briefly when I was younger as a kid, because my PS3 died out a lot from the red light. But I have had the liberty of playing a lot of Resident Evil 1 Remake on the re-release that came out on PS4, and RE2 Remake reminds me a bit of that game, RE1 Remake, aside from the camera, and that resembles later entries like RE4, 5, and 6. And if we were going to compare any Resident Evil game to this game that's quite similar, it'd either be Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 1 Remake that I am aware of. I kind of had like a freaking Texan accent there, I don't know. But I have beaten RE1 and with the Jill scenario in RE1 in anticipation of RE2 before it came out. For starters, the gameplay in RE2, what we are all here for, by the way, because we freaking play video games. RE2's gameplay is fantastic. It's all about managing your resources, knowing when to run away from danger, which are zombies biting you, and sometimes using your bullets when it's necessary. Maybe saving your big guns like the shotgun with Leon in order to kill a boss a lot quicker is, the way to go. Or if you're playing a harder difficulty like hardcore, maybe with Claire or Leon, you might want to think long term, like I said, not wasting your bullets with, on zombies and stuff, as it's really important in Resident Evil, which is similar to Resident Evil 1. Sometimes you might want to run away, and there is a couple of ways of doing so. In RE1, you could use the shimmy method and force zombies to whiff from their assault and run past them, like walking back and forth in close proximity, and they'd miss in Resident Evil 1, and then you could run past them. In Resident Evil 2, there is a similar method, depending on the difficulty, of course. When a zombie tries to grab you twice, you have to be up close, and then you have to run away from them out of their direction. And then when they whiff twice, you then can run past them, and you're free to go, and now you don't have to waste bullets. Sometimes, though, bullets will be necessary, as let's say, there might be a big guy chasing you called Mr. X, who's trying to get after your ass. And there might be zombies in the room, and shooting them in the kneecap is probably the way to go, since, stunning zombies is a good indicator for running past them. And it's also a good indicator in the older games as well. Sometimes you will have to get hit, but that's why we have defensive items. It kind of protects us from the danger, and you don't have to waste your resources or get bit and waste your healing items. Another thing that's similar to Resident Evil, managing your resources, from RE1 and Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, what's different from Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 1 Remake? You cannot grow your inventory space like in Resident Evil 2 Remake and RE1. You had to manage your resources, and depending on how you shoot and get lucky, you might get a headshot on a zombie, and if you don't, they come back as a Crimson Head in Resident Evil 1 Remake. Now, in Resident Evil 2, if you shoot them enough, zombies can be dead, but since they are unpredictable and their health bar is it differs from time to time, it's unpredictable how a zombie can act, and their spawning and how they act and how you approach them can be different. Now, there is a way to kill them like in Resident Evil 1, and that's blowing off their head.
Son of a bitch.
But you don't want to waste too much of your shotgun and your ammo, since maybe later in the game, when you're fighting a boss, you could waste your bullets, and for encounters that you need your big guns and your heavy artillery to get past stuff. You're gonna need your big hitting weapons for those encounters, for the big bosses, and set pieces like that. If you don't, you're kind of fucked, and you're gonna have to start the game all over. That kind of actually happened to me a couple of times. But as for that, yeah, well, shooting zombies in the head is pretty effective. The way you would know when a zombie, obviously their head will be gone. You'll hear like a blood spewing from their head, like a oozing sound. It's kind of satisfying actually when you shoot off their head. It's pretty dope. But yeah, it is an effective method, but I would recommend you run away from zombies, and obviously, the shimmy method is pretty good, and making a zombie whiff when trying to grab you is a great method, like Resident Evil 1. This game rewards you a lot for trying to play like the original, and it's pretty good. It's really a good way of coming back to form with this game. You can't just kill everything in the room and stuff like that. So yeah, running is your best option, and there is this dude, like I said, called Mr. X, who's gonna be after your ass. He's looming, stalking around this police station, trying to kill you, as he follows you everywhere, even in places where you're trying to solve puzzles. Almost everywhere in the police station, he's chasing after you. But the only place Mr. X can't follow you is in save rooms, and thank God for that. But using your combat knife, actually, when down zombies, like what I was saying before, the only way you can check if a zombie's dead if you shoot off their head, right? But actually, if you shoot zombies enough, they'll pretend to be dead, right? But when they're downed, zombies will play dead. But there's a way to check them without wasting your bullets, and that's using your knife to swipe at them on the floor. And when you swipe at them, they'll ground and they'll get back up, and they'll try to presume trying to kill you and bite you and all that stuff. Now, let's talk about the bosses. Now, the boss philosophy in Resident Evil 2 is very reminiscent to Resident Evil 1, as you are running and ducking these big creatures for your life. That was always the philosophy of boss battles in the trilogy and Code Veronica. As for the camera, I love it. The game looks amazing. The atmosphere is amazingly good. It's spooky, first of all, and it's good for this kind of Resident Evil game. It sets up jump scares and suspenseful moments on your first and frequent playthroughs very well. And due to zombies having a randomized health bar, you are never sure as to what might happen. You might get bit sometimes, but definitely zombies' limbs seem like the way to go if you're trying to stun them and run past them. As for the layout of the levels and such, in your first playthrough, you will be backtracking. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be playing the game frequent times, you're going to be backtracking a lot in Resident Evil, trying to retrieve items and unlock new areas in the game to progress your journey with Leon or Claire throughout the RPD. I never felt like I had to travel long distances, and I was strategically thinking about my next move, which was refreshing, playing in a different way of strategizing from Devil May Cry or something like that. It was just a different way of strategizing, and it was just a different kind of game. And Devil May Cry is a great game. It's a hack and slash, and it's all about that style and overcoming obstacles and figuring out boss patterns. But Resident Evil is really about okay, do I want to go to this room and get this key first? I gotta manage my resources to not make sure I waste too many bullets and stuff like that. I gotta think about that. Resident Evil is a different way of thinking, and it's the same thing. It's a different game than Devil May Cry. Obviously, it isn't an action game. You're not supposed to be shooting everything in sight like Resident Evil 5 and 6. So fans will definitely be big time fans, people who like the original trilogy, they'll definitely like this game. When it comes to the voice acting in this game, superbly better than the original. I haven't played RE2 original, mind you, but when I'm thinking about this game and the acting, even in RE1 Remake, oh my god.
Stop.
stake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
Hey, Wesker, where's Chris?
Jill, no. You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that? Chris?
No.
This is good news. We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first. I'd come with you, but I'd just slow you down.
Night and day, am I right? Jesus. About the story, you can choose, like I said, Leon A or do Claire first, and they both have similar stories with the characters going through the police station, and along the way they meet different characters and have different altercations and are more like alternate realities in alternate universes, which is an interesting way to tell the story. But B scenarios with both characters should have linked more better to A scenarios, for example Leon A to Claire B and Claire A to Leon B. Overall, the story leaves a bit to be desired, as Leon B and Claire to Claire A and Claire A to Leon B, etc., really doesn't matter much. The scenarios feel a bit disjointed and don't connect, especially late endgame. Characters and plot points have plot holes and don't make much sense since they differ too much in Leon B or Claire A, vice versa. But I've heard on the internet Claire A and then Leon B is the canonical route you should do first. But honestly, it really doesn't matter. If you choose Leon B or Claire B, you get the same true ending. You do have to beat this game multiple times to kind of get the full experience, and beating it once doesn't really mean much. As for a final verdict for RE2 Remake, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It could have been 10 out of 10 if the campaigns linked more and according to the story and tried to make more sense like the original. But on its own, RE2 Remake is a well put together game, prioritizing gameplay and providing an amazing, immersive, suspenseful experience to make it out alive from this police station. Well guys, that was my review on RE2 Remake. I hope you enjoyed the video. Your boy Black Michima signing off. Peace. Y'all didn't think I was gonna end this video without talking about that thickness, now did ya?